a lot easier than the Erie Canal and a lot more enjoyable. The other thing is
no, it is not, because hi, I'm Rev.
And I'm Sam, and we're aboard the Here's to Us with our continuing journey along America's Great Loop.
We took a trip from Trenton. We were staying at Trentport Marina, and we moved into the Trent Severn Waterways, which is very much like the Erie Canal, but it's in Canada, obviously. And it was different. We moved all the way through Lock 6 and parked up at Frankford. What?
Yeah, Ontario.
Right.
Yeah. So we got out of the marina and we went to pump out. Went over to the pump out station, got that nasty job done.
As you remember, pump out means you gotta suck out all it's a big vacuum cleaner that comes on the side where pump out the poop.
But we had dock hands over there, 2 dock hands, and there was a charge for that here in Canada.
Yeah,
so
that was different.
Done.
Yeah,
and
it was about what, $27 to pump out.
$27 to pump out, Canadian. So about maybe $22. Any case, we got out there and we went into the first bridge, and after that, the second bridge, we had to maneuver for a boat that was coming downstream.
Yeah, it was pretty tight squeeze there for a bit.
Coming downstream, they have the priority going with the current, so we maneuvered out of their way, went through, and then we got to the locks, which the locks are totally different than the Erie Canal, we found out.
Yeah, the thing about the lock 1, and actually all 6 locks, is that they're manual. There are people on the side that are having to turn these huge cranks to open the gate so we could get inside the lock.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little merry-go-round on each side. They push a bar each side, and they push one side of the lock gate open.
Yeah, it does look like a merry-go-round.
A little merry-go-round or a playground type thing. Kind of looks fun. And the other thing is that they have a lot more staff. It looks like they hire college boys and girls, men and women.
College boys and girls.
Yeah, men and women to come out and work out there. They're very friendly. They give you information about the next lock, what to expect.
Right.
So it's
on
really kind
the
of neat.
way that these locks were set up, because in the Erie, there was a rope hanging down, and I would use that, and I felt like I was pulling us up or down. But anyway, these have a cable. It looked like a big, thick rubber hose, and that it was connected at the top and also at the bottom. And we hear it's that way all the way through the Trent Severn. Very predictable.
It's very predictable and actually fairly easy to do. It's a steel cable with, like Rev said, a kind of a rubber mounted or rubber encased around it. And so
so I take a line and I just reach out, grab the cable, and I wrap my line around it, and it's kind of like I'm riding a horse again, so
maybe
I got
one of the next videos
we
can get a picture of that.
Yeah,
to show them. It's kind of hard to explain, but it is a lot easier than the Erie Canal and a lot more enjoyable. The other thing is
no, it is not, because on the Erie, Sam stayed at the helm, and I was in midship, outside, at the line, and if the boat was getting too far away, and from the back, which is the stern, or the front, which is the bow, I would just, say bow in or bow out, or stern in or stern out, and he would take it closer to the wall or further away. Well, tell them what you do during these locks.
So the reason I say it was a little bit easier is once Rev grabbed the cable on the bow, is I kick the stern in toward the wall. I turn off the engines, turn on the blowers, and I would walk down to the cockpit and grab the line out there. Now, the reason I say it was a little bit easier was, I didn't have to do the back and forth with the bow and stern thruster and fore and aft with the engines.
Oh, that's what you meant by that.
But I did have to actually move from the bridge down to the cockpit, grab a line, and then maneuver that line. And so back and forth. When we were the only ones in the lock, which was
that was beautiful.
It's not a problem.
Right.
So it was actually different because it was quieter.
Yeah.
We could actually talk to the lock staff,
Right.
and the folks would come out. Once you got near the top, we're going all the way up now until we get to Kirkfield. So once we got to the top, they would chat with you, and you know,
I
it's
don't
very
remember
nice.
if you said that, but when he turned off the engines, he had to turn on the bilge blowers,
Right.
and so that was the only thing that was going at
Yeah,
the time.
and it's more important for a gasoline boat to evacuate the fumes or anything, but we do have bilge blowers on the Here's to Us, and so we turn those on and comply with it. Generator's off, both engines are off, and then once the gates are open, or once they start opening, we've heard two different things, is then I can start the engines.
Yeah.
And then we maneuver on out. So
Right.
a little bit different than the Erie Canal, but
Yes.
actually, in a way, a little bit more enjoyable because you do get to interact with the lock staff.
Yeah, and it's summer, so it's their busy season, and we're just thankful we got to go through these 6 locks alone, so we
Yeah.
didn't have to could learn how to do it or figure it out, and then not have to worry about other boats running into them, anything like that.
So when we got to lock 5, we did ask the lock master because they just called the next lock, lock 6, and say, hey, is there space at the wall
Yeah.
above the lock? And they said, yeah, there's some space on the left and some space on the right. You're going to have to make your call. Well, when we did get there and we got out of lock 6, it was a little bit of a
It
challenge.
was full. There were
Yeah.
boats everywhere. And there were 2 spaces, actually. There was one on the left and one on the right. We could not fit in the space on the left.
Yeah,
So
with 50 feet plus the dinghy hanging over. We couldn't fit
Yeah.
on the left. And so we saw a space on the right with the bow and stern thruster. I could slide it in, but it did require us asking a small boat, probably a 25-foot boat that was parked in front, maybe slide back about 5 feet. And once they did that, we were able to get the boat in there nice and snug. And you can see pictures of it there, how tight it was along the lock wall.
Right.
So we took care of that, and
Yeah.
did all our checklists and got the boat bedded down and
Yeah.
got cleaned up, and we went to have an anniversary dinner.
That's right, because this day was our 23rd wedding anniversary, and we had to celebrate.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary to you.
Yeah, and anyway, so we're doing what we love, and had a great dinner there at Dimitri's.
Yeah.
Came back and enjoyed the evening.
That town is within walking distance, so we walked over and was recommended Dimitri's, and so Sam got the special, of course,
yeah.
$7, and then mine was like more than twice what his was.
Yeah,
So
but it was great.
it was good and it was fun. So
Yeah,
we're
lots of
happy.
fun. So anyway, we're next trip is Frankford to Campbellford, and so
Yeah.
we'll see you again on the Here's to Us.
All right.
Bye.
See you next time.